Boris Johnson has been overwhelmingly backed by Express readers to lead Britain out of the European Union without agreeing a post-Brexit trade deal as negotiations between the two sides reach a critical point. UK and European Union negotiators are meeting in Brussels this week for the ninth and final round of talks as both sides desperately try to find a crucial breakthrough and thrash out an agreement that can be rubber-stamped later this month. Michael Gove issued a huge warning to Brussels claiming the UK would happily walk away without a free trade agreement if Brussels fails to compromise on a number of red lines that have continually held up talks. Now Express.co.uk readers have overwhelmingly backed the UK to leave the EU without a post-Brexit free trade agreement in place. The latest poll, which ran from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. on Thursday, October 1, asked, "Would you be happy with Britain leaving EU without a trade deal?" A huge 91% of the 23,690 people who voted backed the move, with the remaining 9% disagreeing. Less than 1% were undecided. Responding to the poll, one Express.co.uk reader said, "Walk away, Boris. We don't want any deal with the EU and we never have. Can't you understand that is why you are Prime Minister? We want to be totally free. Leave the EU behind forever." A second person commented, "A deal is impossible. The UK has to protect its rights as a sovereign country. The EU doesn't accept that the UK can regain those rights. They will never be able to bridge that gap. Yet trade will still continue with the EU, businesses will find a way of doing business, probably just on a sector-by-sector basis. In the short term, the EU will have to get used to less fish and the UK will have to get used to less wine." Another Express.co.uk reader wrote, "The benefits to the EU from having the UK outside the bloc cannot be greater than the benefits from having the UK as a member. The EU simply cannot have its cake and eat it." A fourth person said, "If we leave the EU without a deal, it will be because the EU still thinks the UK should jump through hoops and give it everything it wants, rather than meeting the UK halfway. If we do leave without a deal, it's a fact the EU will soon be crawling back as its biggest member Germany will lose so much business just in its reduced car sales, and France will be pushing as its fishing industry will just curl up and die without some form of access to British fishing waters." Mr. Gove, the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, attacked EU arrogance and accused the bloc of acting in bad faith during Theresa May's premiership.